Imagine a life without boundaries, where your thoughts empower you. In this video, let's step out to go on this transformative journey to unlock a world of endless possibilities. And I also have a lovely story to share. Let's go. First, let's discuss what are beliefs. It's an acceptance of a statement as true, or acceptance that something exists. But a limiting belief is an acceptance of a statement that places limits on what is possible. Now, where do these come from? Well, it starts with programming. The programming creates the belief. The belief then creates an attitude. The attitude then creates feelings. The feelings then determine the action. And then the action creates results. So the programming can come from cultural and societal pressures or things that get ingrained in us as we're growing up from childhood that are shaped by our environment and our parents and the people that we look up to. For example, a teacher may say that you're not talented enough or you're not smart. And this creates a lack of confidence in oneself. I remember speaking to someone who told me about answering a question in class as a youngster. And she used to always raise her hand. She was smart, bright student. And then one day, she came up with an incorrect answer. And she was the laughing stock of the class. Well, that created a traumatic experience for her from that moment forward, all the way into adulthood. She had a huge fear of speaking up. So you see how this belief gets cemented in from a young age, from things that uh, people experience in their lives. Now, changing these things is very important because it affects our personal growth and development. It stops us from really living a full, rich, and empowering life. Because all possibilities become available when we are not limiting ourselves. So if you want to change the outcome, then you have to start at the very beginning, which is to change your programming. That is the first step, the programming. Well, how do you do this? Well, there are some techniques we can use to change this. And there are four in particular, um, and they are reframing, visualization, affirmations, and taking action. Reframing. Well, reframing is like taking a statement. Let's say, for example, a person says, I'm too old to change my career. Well, then you take that statement and then you really stop and ask yourself, is that really true? Of course not. You can transform that statement into, I have years of experience, and my years of experience are exceptional, and it actually makes me an ideal candidate for so many areas, more than I even realized. Now, go write it down in a journal and then have a little chat with yourself about it. Brainstorm. If you do it a few days, you'll be amazed at the inspiration that will eventually flow to you. Keep working on that. Visualization is, just as the word says, it's really about tapping into what we visualize or imagine. As children, most of us would daydream at different points. Well, you can still do that. Make a mental movie, daydream, and think of all sorts of possibilities. See yourself achieving a goal. And here's the critical piece. Get into the feeling of how it will feel once you achieve that goal. See and envision the details. Bask in that feeling because you know it and believe it. It will absolutely come to pass. In other words, really, really believe it before you see it. It's not the other way around as most of us were taught. This also helps to train your brain to believe in the possibilities that are available to you. And those possibilities are unlimited. Affirmations. These are positive statements, saying things like, I'm capable of learning anything that I can set my mind to. Now repeat that statement daily. And eventually, you'll be rid of the negative dialogue that goes on in the mind. And the last item is to take action. Yeah, because actions build confidence. Think of something that you want to try and be consistent. Try it out a little. Don't try it out half-heartedly. Try it out and see yourself being successful. Take one or two small steps and then just continue to try it out. You'll get better and more comfortable with it. And that will help build your confidence. Isn't that how we learn anything? Like children. When they're learning how to walk, they fall down. And guess what? They get right back up. They don't stumble one time and say, oh, it's too hard. I'm never going to walk again. Could you imagine a grown adult just crawling and sitting on the floor? Because they refused to learn how to walk as a child because they fell once and decided it was too hard? Oh my goodness. Well, of course, that doesn't make any sense because we know that practice makes progress. Even children, they have no language and they know this. You can encourage yourself by expanding on the things that you're already good at. You have things you're already good at. So expand on those things. Get even better at those things. How do you think many people become so accomplished in certain areas? It could be a language interpreter or a champion swimmer or a well-known baker or an athlete. How do they do that? Because they believe in their abilities and they become better and better and better at it. They fine-tune those abilities. And that leads them to an unlimited life, a life of joy and abundance in what they're doing. And so can you. And lastly, there's one other critical piece that you also understand that it doesn't happen overnight. Remember, it's something you believed. This false belief is something you've believed for an extensive period of time. In most cases, that belief that you had that doesn't serve you, it will take something to change it. But don't give up. Stay engaged, encouraged, and inspired. Surround yourself with people who support your new direction instead of those who want to reinforce the old way of thinking that you had. Before I conclude, I want to share a story that shows the power of changing a limiting belief. Many years ago, we had a next door neighbor, and the little boy was afraid of dogs. Well, one day he said to his mom, you know what? I want to get over my fear of dogs. So let's get a dog. Well, they did. The dog's name was Marley. What a beautiful personality. This dog would come over to our house next door with his toy in his mouth, looking to play. He wanted to play with our cats, but the cats were too afraid to play with him because he was a very large dog. But he was playful and so sweet. This dog would come and he would scratch on our door. And at times when he see the garage door open, he would come and come into the garage and give a small bark and we'd let him in. And he embraced our family. Such a beautiful, loving, gentle sweetheart of a dog. Because he would just come over from time to time and we'd let him in, and it would just almost like we had him as a pet also. We'd give him some treats once in a while, and it was almost as if he was like a member of our family. All because this young child released his limiting belief, his limiting fear of dogs. Conquering his limited belief not only brought great joy to his family, but to our family as well. This is the power of changing a limiting belief and embracing the beauty of all possibilities. So here's a quote. Take it easy in your life. Do not strain. If you feel something isn't right, then stop and change it. Yes, change those limiting beliefs one at a time. So in conclusion, I leave you with this challenge. Think about one limiting belief that you have about yourself or what you were taught. Then use one or all of the 4 techniques I mentioned earlier to single out that one belief and start to slowly dismantle it. And I want you to watch how your life begins to open up before you. Don't give up. Keep at it. It's time to brighten up your world by changing your limiting beliefs. Thank you so much for watching. Blessings. Bye. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe to my channel. And remember, tap that notifications bell so you'll be notified when I post new content.